A team that is not looking for a head coach would be the Detroit Lions. Last week, MCDC said, hey, look, this is the best team we've had top to bottom, which everyone kind of knew once they released Skipper, John Skip. But actually, what MC... Yeah, he got released.
Skip's back.
The way you...
He's back on the
Skip's back.
Skip's back.
I'm just saying, Skip. We all know Skip, even though we probably all shouldn't know Skip. So you know how much that means to MCDC. So I figured, look, if they feel good enough to release him, probably have some good players. But they did mention, MCDC said, hey, look, there's a chance Penei Sewell could play tight end. Fox, could you run that video, please?
There is nothing he can't do. I've said this before. If we just made him a tight end, I think he'd be a Hall of Fame tight end.
It's crazy.
I mean, he is a freakish athlete, just nimble, athletic.
Is there one thing over, a couple years with him that you're like, damn, only he can do that?
Well, I would answer only he can do everything.
Yeah,
and that's probably would be my answer. There is no limitation on him. Like there's things, whether it's the screen game, it's the run game, as you talk about, the one-on-ones, turn the whole protection, just let him go one-on-one, jumbo, make him a jumbo tight end, let him throw, hand him a reverse. And it's one of those things. It's no different than you do with, like we do with our person. Man, we got St. Brown, you got JMO, you got Gibbs, but like he's very much a part of that. Like he allows us to do so much schematically.
Yeah.
That's really, he's part of this secret sauce, man. We can do a lot. We can do the G. We can do the wide zone scheme. We can do gap. We can do the pin and pull. We can do crack tosses. I mean, and that's really because of him.
And you usually get a front row seat of seeing him speed bump a DB.
Oh, my God, it's fast. Yeah, because you're not going to maneuver out of his way.
What was that? Was that a bug on the windshield?
A few moments later.
I think you caught the ball on like the right sideline last year, and you were like making moves like for real.
So, yeah, that one was against Chicago.
I
was supposed to throw it, but...
You're not stepping out of bounds.
No, I told Coach, I was like, this is the only time I get the ball, so...
I'm going to keep it as long as...
I know you guys want me to throw it away, but I'm going to try to make some. So.
Shout out to the Green Light Podcast. Chris Long, obviously Super Bowl champion multiple time, getting great interviews up there in Detroit. I love how much MCDC openly loves his player. Now, that was the first draft pick of this era, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all I can think of that entire time is when Penny's deal is up. Like, he just said our entire offense goes because of this guy. So they're just going to have to pay him the most that's ever been paid and just $1 million more than the most that's ever been paid. And let's just move on because of that glowing endorsement. And who knows how Penny will handle all that. But what a perfect first draft pick whenever you're trying to set a culture, AJ. It sounds like they got it right up there.
Oh, they definitely got it right. And just listen to Dan Campbell say he can legit do everything. Like, how many offensive linemen that are that big can move like that? I think people, like casual fans, will be surprised to see how athletic some of these big dudes really are. Most of them in the NFL, a lot of D linemen played running back in high school, were on the 4x1 track team. Like, they did all kinds of stuff. They're much more athletic than people think. But Penei Sewell is like a different level to that. Like, how would you cover him? Like, what do you do?
What's the one thing he does that you think nobody else can do that? Well, I'd answer that by saying everything. He can do everything. That was a great answer by MCDC. In the moment, brain always firing. That is tough to account for. That's tough to account for when you got a 360-pound guy. How Foxy, you guys love him up there? Is there
Absolutely love him. Fan favorite. He was one of the pillar pieces that changed this whole thing. Like you said, our first draft pick, and then in that same class was St. Brown. They did pay both those guys already, made St. Brown the highest paid wide receiver at that time at the Detroit draft right before it, and then same with Sewell, highest paid lineman. And to your point, they're just going to have to pay him again, make him the highest paid people. But that same draft class is where Micah Parsons was picked as well. And it feels like that was so long ago that they paid those guys, and we're still dealing with this Micah Parsons shit.
Sewell's on the second year of his new deal.
And he was drafted the same year as Micah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you hear how Jerry's talking about Micah, and you hear how MCDC's talking about Penny. It's like
exactly
one really, really, really loves each other. One seemingly perfect draft pick.
Yeah, and that's why it's like the Lions are the one team that are in prime position to screw over Jerry even more. Like, they should pay Hutch right now.
Yeah.
And then see what happens with Micah in Dallas. Because if they play Hutch before Micah, I mean, that could actually blow the whole thing up. The only thing is that it could come back and fuck him, because then Jerry will say, oh, okay, and send him to Green Bay so that they have to play against him twice a year.
I kind of like that scenario.
You like Detroit pissing off Jerry?
Yeah.
So Jerry's saying, NFC North, huh?
Oh, really?
Okay. Well, Congratulations.
All right.
I watched the first 3 minutes of that documentary. Tone Diggs basically forced me to watch it. He goes, you need to watch the Cowboys win. They're calling it the best sports documentary of all time, brother.
Awesome. I mean, when you have Michael, like I've talked about Michael Irvin and all the personalities, like those guys know how to tell a story. And they did a great job editing everything together. Like, I thought it was great.
Yeah, just the first 3 minutes. Him talking about, how much production he had with the oil business because it's gambling, and only the Lord knows what's down there. You're going miles down into earth, and only God knows what's down there, so you got to get lucky. And he said something about his mouth could get him more borrowed money than he could make. He was $50 million in debt. His wife was calling his father-in-law, wondering about how he's going to make it. Is this guy going to be okay? He thought he was going to die. Then one rig came along, $800,000. As soon as it went in there, it coughed a little bit. It is a living spirit. It breathed.
It spit like a mammal.
Yeah, it spit like a mammal. And then I heard it start to hiss, and that thing was screaming. Whew, I made $100 million off that one rig. What a moment.
Said, Jerry, you just bought the Dallas Cowboys.
I knew exactly what I wanted to do with that money.